My name is Jeffrey St. Laurent, and I help coaches transition to a full-time business. I've been a full-time coach since 2004. I've been doing this 22 years. It's crazy. And I help coaches transition to full-time business. Check out my website, sellingcoaching.com. My university has tons of detailed educational resources for you to check out. And right on the homepage of my website, you can enter your name and email to become a part of my community and also get a great resource as well. Why can a coaching business be so challenging? That's what I wanted to come at you today with, is the reality of what we do as a coach is we have to wear all the different hats: sales, marketing, content creation, emails, and then there's being a coach and all the systems and structures to following up with our clients, admin work, etc. And then the back end, social media, whatever you're doing with that, creating a website, even if you're hiring out for that, etc. Right? And there's so much more in the depth layers: organization, discipline, being our own boss, setting our office hours, showing up consistently over time. There's a lot. And while we don't have to become great at everything, meaning we can have people in our business to help us out and where we're falling short, etc., right? We can hire people, we can bring people in, we can have coaches, we can have mentors, absolutely. Yet the reality when we're starting off is we're not creating any revenue. And so we have to be smart around where our resources are going. And obviously, the more people you hire, there's more overhead in the business, which is fine, especially once you're creating revenue. Yet even when you're creating more revenue, it's just as in any business, it's very important to understand where that revenue is going, where your overhead and what your costs are, because it's a business. And that's not even to mention the other, I would say, probably most important aspect of being a business owner is your fiscal responsibility and how you manage your money and taxes and so forth and so on. It's a lot. And so I'm not sharing this to overwhelm you, hopefully to validate how you might feel at times. Or if you haven't gotten there yet, recognizing, yeah, that could be a big piece of it. But now, having done this for 22 years, how have I progressed in all these areas where I feel like I'm capable and able is, well, I just gave it to you in what I shared, is how have I progressed over these 22 years? Time. There are going to be places where you're already great. You already have expertise. Maybe you're fiscally responsible and you're great with tracking and you can track systems and things like that. Maybe you feel more confident now as a coach. And because that's another piece in the beginning, we don't even feel comfortable as a coach. So that's another thing we don't even feel we're good at. And we have a business around it. So over the course of time, it's important to give yourself that space, but start to recognize right now, where is my focus? What skill set am I getting better at and working on? And you can work on multiple skill sets at the same time. It's not like, oh, this year I'm going to work on my selling skill set. This year I'm going to work on my coaching skill set. Yes, absolutely. It's a constant evolution and it doesn't stop. Yet give yourself time, identify the skill sets where maybe you're the weakest, identify where, if at all, can I get people to help me, whether I'm hiring them or I'm utilizing tools and or platforms, or I'm learning from coaches and mentors, etc. Again, be cognizant of where your money is going, income, expenses, etc. But start to understand where you're doing that, but give yourself the time to develop and grow. And over time, you're going to start to become more proficient. But that's the biggest thing is you can't expect yourself to be phenomenal in your first year. And even if you create phenomenal results and create a phenomenal income, there's going to be areas where there's holes in your business. That's the reality of it. So you can be creating great results while still not being great at certain skill sets. And that's where you can be cognizant business owner and be able to say like, all right, well, here's what's working well. Here's areas where I can improve, right? So this year I'm going to improve on this. I know for a longest time, I never stop, but especially the first 10 years of my business with taxes, like every year I'd go to my accountant and I'd say, okay, teach me what's the one thing I'm doing well and what's one or two things I can work on this year and understand so I can come back next year, whether it's tracking and understanding expenses and whatever, paying quarterly taxes, et cetera, that I can get better at. And every year they would say, okay, here's what's working well. And here's how I would focus on more. And then take a look at this And I would look at those things. And I didn't try and get better all in one year, because I just knew that that wasn't me. And I would just be taking my eye off the ball in other spaces if I'm trying to hyper focus on one area, all areas at once. And so I got better over time. And now I feel like I have a handle over them and I understand them and I've expanded. And now that I'm creating a lot more revenue than I was years ago, and I'm a lot more diversified and I have different assets, et cetera, it's even more important that I understand that. I feel like I have a strong team, my CPA, et cetera, in that space. Right. So that's just an area of the evolution over time. And that's what's very important for you to understand. It's just recognize where you're at, recognize what you're great at, which you can still get better at, and then where are the holes? And then how do I begin to educate myself, build a team around that, and so you can improve upon it over time. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. And let me know in the comments where your focus is and what you're looking to get better at. Take care.